Okay. Hey, what's up? It's your boy L7. That's right. We got another show today, and oh my goodness, I definitely been looking forward to this one. This guy Theo Chino has been he's come up several times, and he's of interest to me on a variety of fronts. Yeah. So that's always particularly interesting. Yeah. So I'm gonna actually let him introduce himself, though. Go ahead, introduce yourself to my viewers.
Hi, L7. Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm Theo Chino, and I am some sort of a troublemaker in New York City, and I used to be a troubleshooter for Time Warner Cable for the worst company in New York City, and now I'm trying to help New Yorker any way I can to be the voice for the voiceless in a way.
Okay. So the way that your name came up to me was I was actually been doing some investigation into politics in Queens, or just in the New York City in general. I've been really disappointed by what I've seen as DNC corruption in 2016 and 2020 races. So I've been investigating this whole Grace Meng because she's local to me. Also, I think that there's another guy named Michael Blake or something from like the Bronx or something. And I'm really looking into these cats because where one thing's going on wrong, I've run several businesses. Right, you're a troubleshooter. If one thing's wrong, that's usually a signal that something's wrong somewhere else too. You know what I mean? So I want to know what's going on because fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. You know what I mean? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Right? Yeah. So I'm checking out, and Theo has actually been, uh, as I've done my investigation, people said Theo is really kind of someone who is a political, someone you need to know and recognize in the Flushing community. And I said, that's interesting, right? Yeah, because when I saw his picture, he's not like, I know the Flushing community to be Chinese and Korean, but they're like, yeah, he's not even Chinese Korean, but for some reason he's a real force politically. Why would they say something like that, Theo? What do you think? Any reason?
Well, the thing is, Chino is a Japanese last name.
Okay.
My grandfather was a Japanese civil rights activist in Chicago. He was born in Chicago. His father was Japanese, and his mother was a white from Kansas. So during the war, he got put into the Japanese division and ended up in Europe, in Italy. So he was in the Japanese division in Italy, and then he married a French woman, and they got my father. So my father is a quarter Japanese, and I'm a eighth Japanese, but I still carry the Chino last name.
Okay.
So, so, but my mother is Dominican, so I'm Latino. I'm a Latino, Asian French, if you will.
Right. And you have, besides like your ability to cross like certain ethnic boundaries, I think one person also mentioned to me because of your position in DSA, they were like, oh, like he's kind of known for being in DSA, so I think that's reason why, right? But then also as I started to find out more, something's going on recently with you in DSA. But I
Oh,
guess,
they're trying to excuse me.
yeah, but as in terms of political work, right? You have done some actual activism political work on the ground, right? Yeah. So you told me your
Yes.
father was an activist. That's cool, right? You come from a legacy of activism. But where did that actually lead you, where people would see you as a leader in this community?
I don't know if I'm a leader, but the thing is, it all started with my building where I live, the roof of my building, and also Bitcoin. Because in 2013, when the merger between Time Warner Cable and Spectrum was announced, I was looking for new technology and new job because I knew my job would be my days were numbered when the merger would happen. And so I started working with Bitcoin, a lot of Bitcoin. I started talking to a lot of libertarian as well, and trying to understand what Bitcoin was. And in 2014, I saw the government literally take over Bitcoin in New York State and decide it's illegal to do Bitcoin. They do drugs with Bitcoin. Oh my God, we don't understand. And suddenly I saw the Wall Street Bank, being scared of Bitcoin, and I realized, wait a minute, this is not what I'm seeing in the computer code of Bitcoin. Everything you're talking about is not reflected in the code. So what are you talking about, politician? And at the same time, I had a lot of experience dealing with politicians because I was dealing with my own building where I live. Like I live at 640 Riverside Drive in New York. I had this building was part of the building that burned. The Bronx is burning back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Well, this building never burned. This building was built in 1914. They couldn't burn it. And basically, my mother was living here. I grew up in this building. And they never could do anything. So my activism basically is a mix of my tenant association activism and my Bitcoin activism.
Okay.
And when you put those two together and you look at what is parallel, you go, hey, what about, you're talking about encryption. Encryption is not that. And then I started talking to the district attorney of Manhattan, Cyrus Vance. And then suddenly he's trying to propose a law in Albany saying we need to be able to decrypt the cell phone without, cell phone needs to be decrypted. The encryption on the cell phone cannot be strong encryption. So I'm like looking at, wait a minute, you have Bitcoin, you have encryption, you have the DA, and those three stories basically came together as you don't understand what you're talking about, politician. We need to give you a lesson. Would you be willing to sit down with me and give you a lesson? And they go, no, we don't know who you are. You're not important enough for us to learn from you. You're just a cable guy. Well, okay. I'm like, well, then because I know about politics, I'm like, okay, if you don't want to listen to me, I will look at who is running against you, and I'm going to teach them what I know about you and what you don't want to learn. And then the other people were like, well, we don't know who you are, Theo. We don't care about you. You're a crazy guy. So basically, I'm like, well, nobody wants to talk to me. So then I started a force organization, and I say, I'm going to replace everybody on the Democratic Party so we can get new politicians who will listen to the people. And basically, this is where I am I'm juggling so many balls that are like politics ball because of what is happening. And that's how I get involved. Basically, it's a little bit all over the place, but really it comes back down to basic corruption. Are the politicians we elect looking out for us, the people that vote for them? And it seems like your story, my story, Steve, and other people is basically the same. They get elected and they believe they don't need to listen to us once we elect them.
Okay.
And in a way, they're right, because we as citizens have given up on exercising our political word. So basically, they go, oh, I'm upset, I'm going to run for office. And basically, you lose. And they say, oh, you don't have the backing of the people because you lost. And that's where the systemic corruption happened. I mean, same with Michael Blake, same with everybody else, because when I ran for public advocate, I ran against Michael Blake. So I know all those stories. It's a little bit convoluted all over the place. So L7, keep me back in check into bringing me back to one topic, because I will go left and right in no time. Because right. I jump from one experience from the building, I use it for DSA. Then the experience from DSA, I use it for the encryption. The encryption experience, I use it. And basically, I make no sense at the end of the day.
Now, this is an ill team up, bro, because honestly, I do exactly the same thing. I'm part of, I'm visiting like Justice Democrats. I'm visiting, Yang Gang. I got my hands on a lot of plates also. I understand your methodology, and I actually have very similar style myself.
And it's very hard for people like you and I then to kind of go and explain in a simple term something complicated that you discover while you were doing something else.
But I tell you what, right? The thing is that because you and I both have the experience of not being listened to, right? Because honestly, right? And I get it too. The establishment because I've been in leadership positions before, as have you, right?
Yes.
And when you become a leader, you get surrounded by people that have their own interests or things that they think are important, and they have a larger following for whatever reason, right? So you have to talk to them, but they also, right, you also get trapped in this bubble of, information where you can't get the ground level information anymore, right? And then and it ends up just because have limited time, you can't take in all the new ideas. So you shut out ideas like Copernicus, right? Yeah, anything that doesn't fit the status quo, right? Because of convenience, you're shutting it down. It's not the right thing, but you just don't have time, and that's really a problem. But people like ourselves, right? That's actually one of the big discussions we've been having about, like, MPP versus, versus Democrats versus, maybe we should change it to, instead of being a celebrity-based culture, maybe we should change it to being a general assembly. So that's some of the recent discussions that we've been talking about, changing, and that actually, I think this discussion has been happening in multiple groups that I've been part of. But the thing is that because they're not talking to each other, because they're all off in their own little echo chambers. They don't realize that they're saying it with each other. So I'm so excited to meet you and expand out into this direction. The DSA is something that I've been meaning to follow up on more.
L7,
Yeah.
you just mentioned, I mean, I'm blushing right now because you actually hit the nail exactly where it needs to be. It's a celebrity-based leadership where we vote for celebrity, in fact, and we don't vote for the issue, or we don't discuss the issue that those celebrity brings. I mean, a celebrity is not because it's Beyonce. A celebrity is the leader that has a certain number of followers that basically they become, oh, our leader, our celebrity is the word of reason. It's not about the big celebrity you see on Hollywood, but it's really the celebrity within a certain group. It could be within a club, it could be within a non-profit, it could be, anything.
Yeah, at least the problematic behaviors, and people who are more experienced understand the problems of these behaviors and can do something to try to address them. But there are definitely people within these organizations that understand how to take advantage of these things to their own ends and abuse it. And usually what you're going to see is, right, even these organizations are supposedly open to new ideas and are supposedly about democracy, right? And one of the real big appeals of these organizations is that they will attend to the needs of those who have not been heard. But then how can any true organization talk about humanity and listening to the voices of those who are not heard and simultaneously throw people in the trash? What happens? Now, I heard that DSA, right? Yeah, a democratic socialist supposedly open, right, to everybody, new ideas, right? Yes, someone like yourself who's even run for mayor on the Green Party. You would think that you would line up people that are speaking for, like, tenants' rights. You would think you line up perfectly with DSA. Oh, what's going on the 15th? What the hell is going on, man? What's up?
Well, I'm getting kicked out.
What?
They kicking
what?
Why? DSA. Well, the thing is, DSA grew. The thing is, DSA was the small child within the socialist organization. You have to understand, DSA, when it was founded in 1980, was the group of two different groups, DSOC and the New American Movement. The New American Movement was a student-led organization.
I remember in the 90s, ISO was so much bigger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you have to go back into the history of socialism, back to 1920, to understand what's happening inside DSA today. And ISO is a break-off of what happened in Russia in 1930. Because the ISO followed the writing of Leon Trotsky, who got killed by Stalin in Mexico in 1950. I forgot what year, but his house is part of the museum in Mexico. But the ISO, DSA, Communist Party, and all those different groups are really different stories. And then you have splinter groups that go left and right. Yeah. And suddenly when DSA grew exponentially after the Bernie campaign, basically a lot of people from the ISO saw an opportunity to take the leadership role inside DSA and say, we know politics, because a lot of people get disillusioned by the Democratic Party. And so they said, let me go check out DSA, let me check out AOC, she's talking the right thing. And suddenly DSA was taken over by the ISO, basically.
I have a lot of questions about DSA right now, because honestly, you brought up a lot of topics that all of a sudden I'm like, what? Like, I've been wondering straight up. Okay, so first of all, right, I go to DSA's webpage, and then AOC's picture is on the front. And I'm like, wait a second, right now. A lot of socialist organizations say you have to through revolution. I know DSA is not necessarily like, through violent overrun, which I could get behind, right? But the thing is that, right, when we take a look at Justice Democrats, that's the squad, and then there seems to be this crossover with the squad and DSA. How deep is this connection? What are they more loyal to DSA or Justice Democrats, or what's going on?
I don't know. The thing is, I don't talk to the AOC. I don't have a relationship with her on a talking base, so I don't know. I am a member of the same DSA, except that DSA has some faction inside. Because that's how you get discussion, by having different point of view that clash against each other, and where you have debate.
Did you ever see her go to any meetings? Did you ever see her at any meetings or anything that you used to do? Right, you were with DSA, right, doing stuff. Did you ever see her around?
Yes, I saw. Well, the thing is, she
Okay.
comes.
Oh, she was. Okay.
She comes
Before she ran?
when she's invited. She
Oh,
comes when
exactly.
she's
As a
invited
celebrity.
to the
As a
branch
celebrity. Exactly. That's the same
Exactly.
thing MP does.
But
You got
she's
it.
not. She doesn't come. She doesn't come to the meeting
Okay.
on a regular basis, as she lives in the Bronx. Her branch and my branch is the same branch.
I get that, but
And
that's also right. That was like, now she's got her house right, but what about before? What about before she ran?
well,
Was
I
she ever
don't know
there?
because I rejoined DSA
Yeah.
because you see the thing is there is so many socialist group
Yeah.
from all over the world in New York. I was part of the French group.
Oh, okay.
So I voted for we have member of parliament in Paris. We have senator. So for example, a good friend of mine is the vice president of the French Senate,
Okay.
Hélène Conway. She's a French senator. She's the representative of the French Senate to NATO.
Okay.
And the other day I was talking to her and I go, "Hey, Hélène, do you go to your branch meeting? Do you even participate in the low level branch meeting? Like go there?" And she goes, "Yes, I go because they would kill me if I don't go."
Yeah.
I mean, that's where
Yeah.
I am part of. And you can ask that to the mayor of Paris. The mayor of Paris is member of their local branch, and they go to the local branch. They sit there for 2 hours.
Yeah.
They discuss, and they say, as a mayor of Paris, my experience in your idea is good, but as an experienced mayor, I can tell you if we were to modify it this way, this would be even a better idea. You see,
Yeah.
that's what happened. And all the branches in France have elected officials that are member of the branch, who participate actively and who give good or bad idea and
Okay.
tells you, I'm the president of France. I do go to my branch. I mean, no matter where you are, you belong to a branch. And
Yeah,
they
and
want,
Look, I just want
membership
to, and look,
will
there's a
never
lot of people that
go-
I'm going to be working with, right? There's going to be, like, because honestly, I plan to interview every single person running for city council. I can ask
Yes.
about some of your tenant issues. I can ask about some of those crypto issues, right? Let's
Yes.
be real. Let's team up, yeah. But the thing is that also on this other case, right? There's for all of y'all that are watching this, maybe you're thinking about running for office or things like that, yeah. People and
Yes.
or you're a volunteer thinking about working for a campaign. Yo, listen to old heads like us. We'll put you onto the real game. You know what I mean? There's a lot of ways they love to abuse volunteers and all that stuff. Let us put you on. Yeah? Don't be a sucker and play into their game. You know what I mean? We've been around that. We've been old school. We've been running around for a long time. Yeah? Now, a lot of this discussion that we're talking about socialism and stuff like that, I know a lot of y'all new cats, right, don't understand how deep the socialism game went back, like way back 70s, 80s, 90s, yeah? As in terms of, like, alternative
50
parties,
years.
they were a strong, like the Green Party. They don't really call themselves socialists out there, but really there's a strong influence in there from that if you really do your history and search. So, now, how do you see that actually playing into the future, right? A lot of the new kids, they don't really, or their understanding of socialism is completely different from the socialism as we understood it, right? Like the ideas of labor, they don't talk about labor so much anymore, right? They used to talk about unions, right? We don't hear about
Yeah.
that. So, what do you think the future is with this whole socialism thing?
Well, the thing is, right now in America, you have to remember McCarthyism is real.
Okay.
Joseph McCarthy scared everybody out of the word socialism to the point that you don't know what the difference between communism, socialism, and revolutionary communism. Everything is the same interchange. When the fact is, the United States is the cause and the revelation for what socialism is about. When the United States did its revolution in 1776, that was the spark that literally became what socialism is today around the world,
Quick question.
except in the United States.
Would you
In the
define
United
socialism as government ownership and that's basically it, or is socialism
No,
more than
no,
that?
that's
Okay.
communism. Government ownership is not socialism.
Okay, so
That's what people don't
make
understand.
it clear. Okay, so how do you define socialism then?
Socialism it's a very lax thing. It's about freedom and liberty. It's about freedom and liberty. It's
Okay.
about managing the freedom and the liberty, where where we manage how far we can go into doing something free.
You've heard of something called libertarian socialists, right?
Yeah, but they're not. The libertarian socialists might be the same thing, but they do it differently. Where they want it to happen without the state, without the middle person to say,
okay.
"Oh, it will happen because people are nice."
Okay.
No, it doesn't work that way. The thing is, you need a state, a state level to decide. Hey, you are encroaching on your neighbor's yard.
Okay.
So the thing is, if you're not a socialist, you go, oh well, let me do it. The stronger will survive. I will encroach on your yard. You work hard for your yard, and then we'll take over your yard until you stand your ground.
Okay, I understand. Okay, that makes sense. So, would you say that your philosophy is really at its core and at its heart really aligned with that of DSA?
But that's what DSA is about. And
so then, why are they getting rid of you?
IS
What's going on? That doesn't make any sense,
well,
right?
the thing is,
Yeah.
the thing is, the ISO element have come into DSA
Okay.
and are basically taking over DSA, which is okay. I'm welcoming it. But they want to put ISO's way of working inside DSA. And obviously,
yeah.
I don't qualify for that because that's not my way of, when they tell me jump, I don't say how high.
Okay.
I go,
interesting that you should say Trotsky while we're getting real intellectual on this. We're getting kind of like studious. A lot of people don't know about me on that level, right? They don't know Ed knows the game right here. Okay, we're talking about Trotsky. We're talking about the Vanguard Party. That's actually why we got booted out. That's dead ass, yeah? Because the thing is that, right? Yeah, we were in from Buffalo. We were a bunch of hippies, yeah? We came out to New York City, right? Yeah, we could see that, the New York City squad was treating themselves real good. We could see that they wasn't like us, like a bunch of working stiffs. That's all I thought. I wasn't mad, you know what I mean? That's the city life, you know what I mean? So boom, from there, we saw that their executive meetings were closed. Even as members, we weren't allowed to attend. So look, we said we understand it's a controversial group. We don't have any problem with it. So we went back home and we voted, right? We asked about it. We didn't make any problems. But we voted to make our own executive meetings in Buffalo open to the public. Immediate derecognition, no conference call, nothing. Just like, oh, by the way, you guys, we just derecognized you. What the fuck? All we did was say that we want to have our executive meeting open to the public so anybody could see that we're doing honest, good work. But that was just, you cannot dissent in any way or form. Yeah, that's
and that's basically what they transformed DSA in. Instead of taking the dissent and working it together. I've been a member of a socialist party for 15 years.
Okay. So how does socialism protect the minorities?
They haven't kicked me out of the French Socialist Party. Actually, I go to the international meeting with the French Socialist Party. There, the guy who sat with Arafat and Clinton and decided on the Israeli and Palestinian thing. In there is the leader of the Mexican socialist movement. In there are all the people who shake the world. And suddenly DSA in New York is going to tell me, hey, Theo, you're not a socialist?
Because here's the messed up part. And the thing is that, right, the DSA, the Democrats, there's a whole bunch of, New York City is known for being notoriously corrupt. And let's take a look at some of the ways that they, as in terms of New York City, right, as in terms of national politics, I would say the healthcare industry, the educational industry are huge problems. But here in New York City, the number one problem is housing, property, right? That's what New York City controls. So honestly, right, you said some of the people at DSA have cushy jobs. What's up, man? Right, and they affecting what's up? Yeah, let me know.
Well, the thing is, in the 70s, my house, for example, my building, we the tenant took ownership or basically used the third-party transfer to try to take ownership of our building. So we were supposed to be trained by a non-profit to train us to be what it is to be landlord, because we never own a building. I don't know what landlording is all about. So they gave us training and we go, oh, cool. This is super cool. We're going to learn about landlording. We're going to learn about this. They tell us we need to be on top of things. We need to be cohesive. And we started to be cohesive. And we look at the financial. We say, well, give us the financial of our building. We start learning about the financial. And we start discovering, hey, why are we paying for 6 buckets of paint when there is no paint that was used in our building?
Yeah.
And they go, oh, no. You don't need to understand. We're moving money here and there. You don't know exactly. And et cetera, et cetera. And 20 years later, we discovered that money were moved from our building to a building where Rosario Dawson lives.
Yeah, of course. Basically, yeah.
So if you look at the how you call that, the yearly report from the nonprofit that is the owner of our building,
Yeah.
you will discover that they're moving things around and we don't know where it's going.
There's a very
And
famous line used in our community. It's called "They don't want equality, they want privilege." Yeah, and that's unfortunate.
exactly.
Yeah, that's just and it can really start to. The thing is that when you create celebrities, right? Yeah, you're actually damaging the celebrities as well too. They talk about this in Roots, right? Yeah, the thing is
Yes.
that they start off as good people, but you put them in this bubble where they can no longer contact reality, and then any normal person would lose it. That's why you look at like Congress and people are like, why is AOC turning this way? Why is she cutting deals? Because they get wrapped in this bubble, and part of that is on y'all too. You got to tell them the truth, and you got to be fearless, and also you got to promote people like Theo, who are fearless and gonna it's sometimes it's
Oh,
difficult to support people like that. You know what I mean? Because you're not sure. Are they gonna win? Are they gonna lose? Maybe this is a chancy thing. You know what I mean? But if everybody backs up, then expect to get hosed. Yeah.
no, absolutely. You hit it on the nail. And so the thing is the building. Well, the thing is DSA. So there is a second problem with DSA and my building, is my building is used as an example of success for the policy for housing for DSA. The problem is it is not a success.
Yeah.
It's a lie because I live in the middle of that lie. I know the lie perfectly. And when I tell them, guys, from the outside it looks like a success because that's what they want you to look at it, and I'm telling you it's a lie. And the problem is the people who are in leadership of DSA work, actually their paycheck come from the owner of my building who pushes those policy. And when I go to them and I say, hey, you're wrong, come to see my building, well, the thing is the person I've been fighting inside my building for the last 10 years is the roommate of the person making the policy for DSA.
I think that we have a lot of people could relate to what we're saying, especially people that are struggling with
I
the system. You know what I mean? Straight up, you know what I mean? It's absolutely ridiculous. Like hearing this stuff go on, it like makes my blood boil because we've all experienced this shit. It's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, it's
and you
maddening and
name,
stupid. Yeah,
yeah, you name it. And so the thing is that's what Paperboy Prince Love, Paperboy Prince Love ran for Congress
yeah.
on love and $80 and a lot of love. And the thing is, we want people. We basically did a show called Zoom with Paperboy, hosted by El Chino. The
Okay.
idea, the idea is to teach people. It's 1 hour. It's their 1 hour video. It's like a master class on how politics work in New York. And so
Mm.
basically, we're working with we're trying to rebuild a grassroots movement with candidate running for office where the grassroots and the candidate works in sync together. So when you become the celebrity candidate, you don't forget where you came from because
Yeah.
you came from the grassroots with everybody. And also to teach the grassroots that the candidate, their candidate, they have to cut deals sometime. But you also learn about when to cut deal, when to accept that your candidate is going to cut a deal, and you need to be ready for them to be able to give them enough leeway for them to cut a deal.
See now. That's actually one thing that I had a recent conversation with someone from Yang Gang. A lot of
Yes.
honestly, this government stuff, a lot of this political stuff is actually about making deals. That person thought that it was just about like fighting for their one path. But in the end, right, if we want to get things succeeded, not everybody's gonna think the same way. So you have to compromise often. So someone who's had like the experience and level of expertise that you have, right, yeah, would be an obvious asset for DSA. But right, what happens is that right, his suffering is too loud, right, and the truth is too inconvenient, and they need to silence that. And honestly, if you're a type of if you're thinking about if you really want to help the people and you want to work for a candidate, put that candidate to the test, right? Put in a request somehow, right, or bring a friend with you, right, and have them make a complaint, right, or say that they're in need and see how the candidate responds or how that organization responds. That's going to tell you a lot right there, yeah, about like their real priorities. So hey man, I love it to death, man. We're gonna definitely do some more things right there. Now, honestly, just so you know, I know someone who is Nithya Rahman, a big
No, I
successful.
haven't.
Okay, she actually just won on the West Coast in Los Angeles. I do have connections over there from my work in the Tulsi campaign, and there
Okay.
was an early supporter of her. And let me see if I can bring her on board to help out with this situation over here. Maybe I can contact some people in DSA LA and get them involved and help out your case. I don't know, maybe not. Yeah, but maybe more eyes looking at it. Yeah. All they want to do is not get
Kicked
people
out of
looking at this
DSA.
stuff,
They
right?
cannot kick him out. Socialism is not someone you cannot kick out someone out of socialism.
Yeah,
Let me
that's
make
right.
it
How
clear.
can they do that? What?
They cannot.
Yeah.
You can only leave socialism, but you cannot be kicked out of it.
Is that meeting
So-
going to be public?
What?
Is that meeting going to be public? I would like to attend that meeting.
I hope so, and I'm going to try to make it public as much as I can. They
I'm
sent
calling
me
on
the
DSA
Zoom.
right now. I will actually also put this on my Twitter. I'm going to tag DSA. I'm going to email to them personally, put it in the video at the end, yeah, and say, what's up, DSA? Look, I'm not trying to, look, I'm new to this situation. There might be something about Theo that I don't know, that you guys have something to tell me. But in the end, right, this is a test for me to see if I want to work with DSA. All I know is what he told me right now, and I think that it's fair that we should have a transparent process, and I want to
Absolutely.
attend and see what's going on. I think that's fair, right? Yeah, like, I'm very troubled by an organization that can throw someone in the trash. That's, whose whose next idea is going to be inconvenient with the truth, or whose next idea, will be, something that I know, was it democratically decided to get rid of this guy? Is he too black or something? What's next? What's the next reason? First,
And-
yeah.
That's exactly the point, and that's exactly what I hope they realize, that question you're asking is, if you start with me, who will be the next idea that you will discriminate on, or that is inconvenient?
Yeah, if there's gonna be someone getting kicked out, we need to do a real deep investigation. So don't worry, I'm on your
Yes,
side, man. Yeah.
Thank you. No, we'll keep calling. We keep talking about it, and we'll go
Okay.
from there.
Also, just gonna ask you a little bit more just before I go. Right now, the thing is that, look, your work with DSA, I know they're a very hot prize looked at, right, very hungrily upon by the Tulsi community and the Yang Gang
Yes.
community. Yeah, because we want to be the successors to the Bernie movement in a way. You get what I mean? And we want to pull in. Now, a lot of these new cats, right? The Tulsi movement, I do know a lot of people are older and understand the socialism background of the left, right? Yeah? More than maybe the Yang Gang, a lot of new cats. But how can we really position ourselves to be more favorable to, people who I'm not even going to say DSA because the leadership, honestly, all the organizations struggle with leadership. But just as in terms of people, right, who are DSA in heart but not necessarily in title. You get what I mean? Yeah? How can they appeal to that community?
So the thing is, at the end of the day, politics works is in the block where you live, in your block. And I'm going to talk about Rep My Block 5 seconds because you're giving me the opportunity. Basically, I built a website, Rep My Block, to give people understanding on how to represent your community, meaning the 800 people that live around the block where you live, they have representatives inside the Republican and the Democratic Party. So it's not only for the Democrat, it's also for the Republican. Basically, if you want to get involved, the first door you need to knock is on your door next door where you live. If you live at 800 Flushing Avenue, go knock on the door of 802 Flushing Avenue, give them a petition and say, I would like to represent this neighborhood inside the Republican Party or the Democratic Party.
I'd like to add to
And
that, yeah? Now, I'd like to say that, I do a lot of interviews with a lot of, people in the political field. And a
Yes.
common theme that you'll see amongst people who are more experienced, once again, Brendan Carpenter. Once again, I'm going to talk about James Roguski. Once again, talk about, Lisa. Other people have appeared on my channel, right? Owen Charles, yeah? The thing is that a repeating message has been that we have to learn to take over locally. A lot of people have this, right? They love to get all worked up about Trump because it's easy to fight an enemy that's far away and can have no effect on you. But God forbid
Exactly.
you should actually take on real corruption in your own neighborhood. There could be real consequences, you know what I mean? But that's where
true.
you really learn how to really deal with the issues. Now, one of the things that we have, one of the things I'm trying to get popped off here is, right, you know how they black out, football games if they can't fill the stadium? Let's black out the debates if they don't give equal speaking time to candidates or to third-party representatives. They want to control, right? They say they're a corporation. They don't have to be, fair or, or just blatantly do things that are against democracy. Well, we have a choice to try to fight that. So the local actions are exactly what I'm with you. And by the way, all right, I'm going to link you up with any, if you're part of a tenant
40
association.
hours
Yeah.
a week.
Yeah.
40 hours a year. The thing is, if you really want to get involved, you don't need to get more involved than 32 hours a year. Basically, you need to get involved. And 32 hours is only the first year because you have to learn a lot of stuff. But once you learned it, every year after that is minimum 20 hours for the whole year. You go around, you elect, but the thing is, you need to elect the right people. So all this Leo election is about electing the right people who will let you do the right, ask the right question, and will, that's what
Yeah.
it's all about.
And also a smaller you might like look at the Yang Gang, you might look at Tulsi, you might look at DSA, and they look so juicy. But I'll tell you right now, I've approached Yang Gang about like doing the election day event, which really didn't go successfully at all. I've also approached Yang Gang about like you heard me say it. I'm approached every single city council representative, asked them to support UBI. I asked them the same language that they sent to the mayors, right? Yeah, so that I could have similar language, so it's stronger because there's more consistent. I haven't received that yet. You get what I mean? But I know from
Yes.
Chino, because he's more personally involved, that he will send me his language about the tenants' rights and about the crypto rights, and I will be able to approach these, mayoral candidates. So that's another thing about the people who are low and on the ground, right? We're more hungry for it. You get what I mean? I don't get to choose, like, saying, like, I don't have time for this guy, and I work my ass off. But, honestly, people like us, you're better off getting your problems heard. People that are more, invested. And who provides the work that gets these celebrities elected? That's me. So, you know what I mean? Word up, Chino. It's you and me, son. You know what I mean? We're taking over this. Yeah. And plus, Brooklyn Cable Access, they got a new show on that we can sign up for a show. We can do it on a regular basis. We'll expand our platform and also nationwide, baby. You get what I mean? Yeah, I'm going to utilize all the things. Yo, we're going to go real far. I'm really Chino's definitely a made man on my channel. You know what I mean? Say what's up, you know what I mean? If you fight corruption, you know what I mean? We definitely take what you want.
I am fighting for corruption, against corruption. I'm fighting corruption like nonstop. And, anything you need, any data you need that I have,
What's the
name
I
of
do.
all the
What's the tie? I already asked you about the tie between DSA and JD. What's the tie between DSA and Refuse Fascism? They're very active
which
in
one?
Refuse Fascism. You ever see that group? I'll send you some of their events. Yeah, they seem to have some type of connection. I'm trying to find out. Yeah, Refuse Fascism. They're very active on the street, but they have not replied yet to for an online interview. But I do talk to them on the street. I will be talking to them soon and find out what's going on.
Okay,
I
I don't know what's going on because I'm cut off everything at DSA right now.
That's okay.
So
yeah.
I have no idea, except from the top level. I have no idea what happened on the ground because they have vilified me. So I don't know what's going on.
I bet you have allies in DSA though, don't you?
What?
You have some allies in DSA, or they got rid of anybody with independent thought there. Everybody
No,
there just, yeah.
The thing is, I have a lot of allies, and I tell them not to speak out because I don't want them to lose.
They become targets.
You know.
I know, man. That's what happens when you fight corruption. That's why, right, honestly, if you see me on the street right there, I'm not always like, you want to be my friend, stuff like that. I know, man. My friend's going to pay a price. I keep my distance, man. This is only for real warriors, bro. Only for real. Yeah.
But if you want to become a warrior, it usually happen without nobody asking you. You just end up in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And if if your listener needs help in how to become a warrior or how to get help or how to become stronger, they can reach you. They can reach me. They can reach, and we'll give them more contact of other warriors.
Yeah, so let's put out your information right now. How can people follow you? You got a Facebook, you got a Twitter. What's the Theo Chino, right? Honestly, I'm telling everybody right now, especially if you're in New York, I'm going to be
my
knee
Twitter
deep in
account,
this. And this guy's going to be part of it.
My regular Twitter account is Theo Chino, TheoChino.
Okay.
But if you do Bitcoin, it's Theo Bitcoin because I know I don't want to submerge my Bitcoiner friend with all my politics stuff. So if you're really into Bitcoin, is Theo Bitcoin.
Okay.
If you are a computer geek like me, is Theo Geek. So I talk about computer and computer coding and thing I do, but less in politics, but more geeky stuff.
Cool. I'm actually got to learn C. I've been fucking slacking, yeah? But I'm really determined to do
I love you.
Yeah.
Talk to me when you get to the pointer. I'll go over the pointer with no problem.
I want to be able to hack my laundry machine. I want to do all that. Yeah, I want the ground level control. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, C is the better language. I love C.
Oh,
don't
that's great.
Don't get me started on C because...
All right, let's do it, man. Let's do it, yeah? Hey, last question is going to be kind of a little bit controversial, so I really appreciate you answering that, yeah? So look, I've been part of YG, and I love YG. I don't want anybody to think for a second that I don't, yeah? I believe in their ideas. But locally, Stephen Lee has been attending all the events for Yang Gang nonstop, right? Like, I've been working next to this guy, right? That they can't burn us all, right? Yeah, like, that was one of the largest events for Yang Gang, period, right? Event after event after event. Then this guy named Ron Kim, yeah? He's running against Stephen Lee, and every time his name comes up on the New York City Facebook Yang page, someone's got a pic of him bashing Yang and stuff like that, right? They're like, screw this guy. But yet this guy was endorsed by Humanity Forward, Yang's own organization, right? I'm like, what is this? What? Right? Now the thing is that, right, that elite bubble, right, which kind of happened, right? I think that's when that came into play. But still, right, I can accept that, but I want to hear it. I want to know that was the reason or not, right? I heard that there was a vetting process. That's very untransparent, right? What now? As Steve's campaign, this is very weird. What do you make of this?
I am upset with Andrew because I love UBI. When I ran in 2005, I was part of the UBI gang back in 2005.
Yeah.
So I pushed UBI in France and all that stuff. So I know UBI pretty much. And when I met Paperboy Prince, and I believe that Paperboy Prince is who made UBI possible for Andrew Yang to get on national stage. And I'll tell you why. And I'll get to Rom Kim in 5 seconds later.
Sure.
But Andrew Yang had no chance within the national stage because nobody knew him. And the thing is, UBI is something very important when you are poor, when you are black, when you are Latino, when you are brown, and someone tells you they're going to give you free money.
Yeah.
And it's money that is unconditional, that everybody gets it, white, black, whoever gets it, is something that a lot of minority understand. Because we as minority, we have been told you need to get the American dream by lifting your bootstrap. You know, and you see that with a lot of black leaders. If I was able to do it, you're able to do it. Why don't you work harder? Why don't you do this harder? And for me, when I discovered UBI, when I met with several green in 2005 and they said UBI, I'm like, holy crap, this is the answer to the stigma attached to getting food stamp. Yeah. Because I remember when I was a kid, I worked as a cashier, and I always was respectful to someone who would give me a food stamp. And there is a stigma attached with black and Latino with food stamp. And UBI is like money to replace those food stamps that you don't need to be afraid.
Sure.
You don't need to be stigmatized for those food stamps. You don't need anything. You just get it. And that's what UBI. And so when Paperboy, who's a black leader now, went and rap about UBI, Gang Yang, and all those videos that went viral on UBI, Andrew Yang suddenly became someone who carried the message for UBI because people were listening. The black community was listening to UBI as something we need to have.
Yeah.
But Andrew Yang never saw it that way because Andrew Yang saw, I lifted myself from my own bootstrap. And I follow Andrew Yang very closely from the first day of his campaign because I care about UBI. Okay. So when Ron Kim, now we get to Ron Kim. Ron Kim UBI is not something socialist DSA like, because for some reason they're like, that's not socialism. I'm like, you're not understanding. It is. So Ron Kim suddenly started going after the Asian community. You know, he always claimed, I'm the only Asian running for office. You know, when he was running for public advocate, I know I'm not an Asian, so I don't qualify, but there was Alal, who's from Bangladesh, and there was also Ben Yi, who's from downtown, born in New York. His last name is Yi. And he goes in front of everybody, I'm the only Asian running for office. That's Ron Kim. It's like, wait a minute, Bangladesh is not in Asia anymore? Ben Yi, who's Chinese, is not an Asian anymore? And saying lie like that in front of everybody, that's Ron Kim. And I'm sorry, I'm calling him out because he did the same thing with Bitcoin. He took Bitcoin. He was supposed to work with me on the bid license what I was fighting.
Yeah.
He stabbed me in the back. And so when DSA and Ron Kim was doing all this stuff, as an Asian, he went to see Andrew Yang, and Andrew Yang gave him the thing because he was already the elected official, and that's why I'm upset. And so, yes, you're absolutely right. The vetting process within the Andrew Yang group was not transparent.
So
Basically,
I think what you're saying, right? I think what you're saying here is right, because I see some reasons for him to make this choice, right? Yeah, I see like maybe if he thought they were gonna win and they were gonna be in power, maybe he could get some things through, right? Yeah. But then once again, right? I think that if you're going to make a then I think what happens is that you're saying, I'm sacrificing one dude for another dude. You get what I mean? Because I have something to gain. But the thing is that, too often I have been, right? Yeah. Now the thing is that, the idea is that Asian people are rich. I'm not rich, okay? So I really have this kind of like lower class like viewpoint of it. And how many times are we told, that we have to be the ones to sacrifice, right? So society can do better, right? Yeah. Oh
No,
yeah, we know. We know the justice system's unfair, but you black people, you just gotta kind of accept it. You know what I mean? We know slavery wasn't fair. We don't have any reparations for you, but you just kind of gotta accept it. You know what I mean? And Stephen Lee, even though he's the one putting in the work on the ground, you know what I mean? But Ron Kim's has the position, so you just gotta accept it. You cannot earn your way, right? If there's no pathway to earn your way towards the good things in life, then you say fuck it, let's take it. So honestly, right, yeah, so if you're going to put Stephen Lee into that position, you're sending a message to everybody else who's working in Yang Gang, New York, saying, like, you know what I mean? Even if it's more important to be in power by any means necessary than it is to provide work for the Yang Gang. And look, I can understand some of that, right? But to make that decision without open discussion, I think is very dangerous.
Exactly, same thing. And so I know Ron. I'm pissed at Ron, and I will say it in front of him in his face as well. So don't worry, I have told it in his face, and he has blocked me on Twitter. And so do not worry. He knows exactly what I think, and I do believe. And what saddened me is Andrew Yang. The thing is that bubble thing you're talking about, because I wrote to Andrew Yang a letter, and of course he mustn't be lost in the mail. That's okay. But the thing is, he is a voice for the Asian community, and I think he's blowing it up, because a lot of people don't understand that a lot of politicians get people against each other, race against race. I mean, for example, the first NYPD cop to be arrested and jailed for killing a black guy is not a white Irish guy. It was the Chinese guy, prosecuted by a gay DA. So basically, it's minority against minority, taking things instead of figuring out what are the fear, how can we work together. We're fighting the same common white supremacy ideology, but instead of fighting white supremacy, we're fighting each other.
Yeah.
On the name of fighting white supremacy.
And all of us groups that watch this channel right now, to my Tulsi Crats, to my Yang Gang, to my DSA people that's watching, to my Draft Jesse people, to my Green Party people that's watching, every single one of these groups is talking about forming a coalition. Every single one of these groups talk about we need to do this shit. Whatever the fucking leadership says, fuck them, you know what I mean? Let's get together, you know what I mean? I'm not hating on the leadership, you can be a part of this too. But it's time for us to stop looking at the differences and see where we come together. People like at the bottom, just like you and me. Yeah. God bless.
Yes. And I think we can do a lot of things together, and anyone listening. So
you share your Twitter, right? Yeah, so Theo Chino, right? Yeah. Theo, you said there was some other stuff with your crypto. Yeah. Is there any Facebook? Do you have a website? What's up?
So if it's crypto, it's abolish the bid license.
Okay.
So abolishthebidlicense.com has all the legal stuff and all the activism around abolishing the bid license, because they wanted to get the bid license from New York all over the United States. And basically I help a lot of activists in Hawaii, in Nebraska, in other places in the United States to defeat their bid license.
Okay, that was awesome about that is actually I have some people like Lisa, right, one of my co-hosts from California, who's into crypto. I know some people in the Yang Gang that are into crypto. So I'm going to try to schedule on Thursdays. I have a panel discussion I'm gonna try to
Okay.
bring more heads to talk about it, and also I do promise to make sure that you get me in that email. Yeah, I will. I'm planning on talking to every single city council member person who's running, and Brooklyn borough president and mayor, and I'm gonna ask them about this crypto thing, and we're gonna get something,
Okay.
set for real. Yeah,
Ask Mark Levine about crypto.
I'm asking everybody, okay?
He's
Yeah.
he's running for Manhattan Borough President.
Yeah.
So basically, he discovered crypto. He got in the news and all that. But so the other thing is rep my block. I mean, the most important thing is give 32 hours a year to your community. If you live in New York, it's once every 2 years. Rep my block. That's really the only thing. The rest is
Rep my
the
block.
rest
Is that an organization, or like is that something like how can they get involved with
No,
that?
it's a website. Basically, it's a website where it tells you how to join the decision instance of the Democratic or the Republican Party. Basically, your only job once you get in there is to elect the leader. You only vote for the leader. But the thing is, the leader decide who the judges will be. The leader decide who the commissioner of the election, the board of election will be. If the board of election is a mess, it's because the leadership wanted to be a mess. The judges, they organize the convention around how we elect judges. So if you elect the right leadership, you elect the right people to become judges. So that's all I really want you to do is give 32 hours to be part of the group that elect the leadership of the party, who elect then the rest of everybody else. So that's, I think, is the most important thing that people can do. So Rep My Block is really a website to help you get all the legal paperwork to run for those office.
Yeah.
So if you want to run for Congress, I'll help you too.
All right.
Paperboy Prince needed, all the paperwork was done through Rep My Block as well.
Cool, man. I'm really looking forward to doing some more future work with you. This is just the beginning, folks. There's so many layers beneath like everything that we talked about today that we're ready to hit. You know what I mean? So we can't even address that all today. You get what I mean? And our work will continue as the race continues on through 2021. God bless, brother. Thank you so much.
2022, 2023, 2024, 2025.
You got it. You're damn right. Yeah, I've been in this game for 20 years, bro. I'm ready to go another 20, man. God bless.
Well,
Thank you.
as soon as the confinement is over, we go for a beer, coffee, whatever.
I don't care, man. I'm still running around like a beast, man. Can't stop me. All right, God bless, man.
Okay.
I'm getting up with you soon, man. You're a high interest individual. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you very much.
Shit, okay. All right, see you, man. Thanks. Peace.
I'll see you later.
All right, see you.
Peace.
It's a dark day in our nation when high-level authorities will seek to use every method to silence dissent. The truth must be told.
And if you want the truth, you need to check out independent media producers just like myself, DJ L7. You should subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications when I release a new video.
The truth of these
We are
words
on all
is
the major
beyond doubt.
platforms. That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Unfortunately, we have definitely seen that these mainstream outlets will cave to corporate interests, so we encourage you to join our independently moderated communities of Reddit and Discord. We also encourage you to subscribe to us on BitChute and Dailymotion so you can see the content that YouTube doesn't want us to let you see. Hey, now it's time for the most important part of the video. That's right. It's time for us to tell you about the Taking Action Group. Do you need an activist? Or maybe there's no activists around willing to help you with your cause and you need to learn to become an activist. That's exactly why we're here. Every week we get up with people from across the nation, in fact even sometimes internationally, and we develop strategies and a game plan to address the issues that are affecting all of us. Every week myself from New York City and of course my co-host Lisa from Los Angeles provide a coast-to-coast perspective on what's going on in the country. If you want to donate to help out with expenses, travel, equipment, stuff like that, then I definitely appreciate it, and you can hit us off at Venmo or PayPal. Thanks a lot. Hey, by the way, we also have a merch store, so check it out. Oh my goodness, it seems like you've reached the end of the video, so make sure you check out some of our other videos, make sure you subscribe. This is your last chance to do so thanks a lot, and looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment below if you have any questions or issues you'd like me to address. And if you're an activist, the time to make things happen is now.